All right. Good afternoon. Thanks for joining me here today. My name's Todd. Good afternoon to you. Good evening if you're overseas, or good morning if you're the other way overseas. So we are 1 o'clock p.m. Central Time, U.S. I'm in Allen, Texas, and thanks for joining me today on my live stream. I'm a little bit, we're trying to troubleshoot something here in the back end. So we are live streaming to, if I move my big head, StreamYard, Facebook, and YouTube. So I think YouTube is working and StreamYard's working. I think my Facebook page is not working. My Facebook profile probably is. Anyway, so if you're on Facebook, hop over to StreamYard or YouTube if you're not able to see the stream. So we were trying to look at that just earlier before we started. So I do this every 2 weeks on Friday at 1 o'clock. And so today we're going to talk about jam chucking small vessels. If I get myself completely out of the way, you can see that's kind of what we are attempting to do today. This is the one on the picture, and these are the two that we have to jam chuck. So we're going to be looking at that today to finish off the bottoms of these guys where they've got a little tenon on them. So we'll go through that, and I've sanded these up. And ready to go to final turn the bottom, and they'll be ready for finish off the lathe. So let's set those aside. But let me just say a couple of things here. First of all, if you need to stay in touch or get in touch with me, the Wood Turning Tool Store is where you can do that, and it's all over the internet. So check it out. My phone number and email's there. Easy to get in touch. So we're happy to do that. The QR code over there is to join the newsletter. That's how you get to know about these things if you're not watching on YouTube or subscribed. If you're not, please go ahead and subscribe. That helps out a little bit. And the newsletter comes out and talks about other things, tool specials. Right now we have Memorial Day sale on. Memorial Day is a week, this weekend, a week away. And so we put a bunch of stuff on sale. Go check out the website, and that should be some good savings there. So we'll maybe take a look at that later as well. So my friend Cindy, who is here in the studio, is also does a live stream. Cindy, good afternoon. Good morning. How are you? Oops.
Muted. How am I? I was muted. Hello, everyone.
Yeah, so you're on next Friday at 1 o'clock,
Mm-hmm.
and kind of do the same sort of thing, you know, live stream to StreamYard and Facebook and YouTube. Any other destinations you're doing these days as well?
Yeah, well, to start with, next Friday, Emma Cook will be my guest.
Oh, nice.
So that'll be fun stuff.
Yeah.
We don't know what she's going to be doing with us, but it's always fun with Emma around. And I'll be doing an IRD, online remote demo on May 31st or June 7th. We have not decided which one yet. So
perfect.
I'll see you there. And
absolutely. And
also
this sharing session. We have that coming up on June the 6th.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, there's the banner for it.
Yeah, Friday.
Yeah,
June 6th.
So it's during our live stream time. Cindy live streams at 1 o'clock p.m. Central as well, 12 noon her time. And so we decided 1 o'clock seems to be a good time. So that's when we set the live streams, the sharing sessions, and I think your demos are an hour earlier. So
yeah, they are because they go so long.
Yep. Sounds good. Good stuff. All right. And we're looking forward to the news on the demo when it comes out, and looking forward to next week.
Yes.
Good stuff. All right. Thanks, Cindy, for joining, and stick around.
See y'all.
All right. So that is coming up, and what do I have? That is my shop background. I think that's all I have for right now. We'll talk about. I made a tease in the newsletter coming up that went out this morning that have some announcement to make. I'll make that here in just a minute as we get going, and we'll talk about that. So first of all, let's take a look at what is on the lathe here. So we have, and I didn't even get a chance really to set up cameras. So let me just do that now. That looks not too bad. We have these little guys on the lathe sitting on this little platform. We'll talk about that here in a second too. These are the two ones that I did 2 weeks ago. I hollowed them out. The week before that, I think we shaped them and stuff. And this is the one I did about a month ago. So a little set of bur oak hollow forms, or vessels, I guess. Not really hollow forms. This one's certainly not. And just sort of a study in bur oak and the Rayfleck pattern. You can kind of see on the finished one there, you get the nice oak. All face grain turned, almost rift sawn wood here, if you will, or quarter sawn. So it is striking wood. I do like oak. It's a pain to work with. This has bugs in it that you can see, some of the bug holes and stuff. But this is from a 400 or 500-year-old tree that blew down 2 years ago in Plano, maybe 2.5. And local artisans around the area got access to the wood and turning it. So I'm still turning some. I had this stuff over a year ago. So been able to get some smaller pieces. I got some bigger blanks I'm doing some stuff with. It's just a dickens to try and get this stuff to dry without cracking. So that's why some of these pieces are kind of small, because that's kind of what you get left over when things crack. So what is this thing on the lathe? This so we talked about this earlier in the live stream. This is a, let's see if that's undone, 3D printed tool post platform. So I've got a tool post here and a 1-inch post, and that can go on there. And I've got a shot here showing the underneath. I've got some little thumb screws, tighten it down. This is 3D printed. The threads are on a brass insert that is, what do you call it, heat set in there, so a little brass insert. So being 3D printed, it's certainly not as robust a platform as a metal one, even aluminum or a steel one, but it is a lot cheaper to make, and it is sturdy as heck. So that locks it on there fairly well. So this is a prototype, and this is what I'm looking at maybe manufacturing. I've got holes in the top here. Let's see if we can see the overhead. That kind of shows a good enough picture. I'll take that off there. So I put holes all around the perimeter. This is 150 by 150 mil, so 6 inches by 6 inches pretty much in area. And I put holes all around, so you could mount another platform, a customized platform, and just using what I would normally use for faceplate screws, kind of sized them. So I got 14, number 14 1-inch screws. Those will fit in. Of course, they would go up this way and be able to secure your wooden platform, whatever it may be to use. So these are little hex head screws. What do they call them? Hex head slotted machine screws, sheet metal screws. That's what they're called, sheet metal screws. And then, or pan head Phillips wood screws. These are number 14 3/4. I like number 14 screws for faceplates, and so that's normally what I tend to use. So, and so those are kind of fitted tight for that, so they won't move around too much. Anyway, the idea is you have a platform that are removable. You'll notice that this, I'm going to do those. It's a very tight fit, this one. Working on that. This post has threads down in there. I've got internal threads for that extra post height. So you can screw this one. If you have a post like this, you don't really need these because you can screw it down to the internal threads. And if I just move it away from my chuck a little bit, it starts to screw down onto that thread and it's not coming up. So that is another option. It's the woodcut posts that have this extra thread. This is 1/2 by 20, I believe. So that's it. That's the platform. I had another one here. I haven't put the threaded inserts in, but this one's got a slightly better fit on the post, where there's no slop, and it's still a good suction fit. So I think that was like 1/4 of a millimeter, maybe less than that, 1/10 of a millimeter difference. So anyway, that's what I've been working on from a 3D print perspective. Let me know in the comments if you got any thoughts on that. And speaking of comments, let's say hi to a few people. Of course, Cindy's here. We saw her. Glenn, thanks for joining. Appreciate it. My wife, Shelly's on. She's saying hi to folks in the chat. Paul's here from across the pond. Thank you, Paul, for joining. Let's see, John from New Orleans. Or should I say New Orleans? However you want to say that. So let me get back up here. And then, another Todd. Thank you for joining. And Charlie's here from across the pond. Good to have you here. Thank you for joining. Appreciate it. And let's see, just going back. There's a bunch of people saying hi back and forth. Hans from Holland is over there, Netherlands. Thanks for joining. Appreciate it. John Stroud, Eastern Tennessee. Nice. Oh, my friend Lowell from Alamo. Good to have you here, Lowell. Thanks for joining. Appreciate it. And let's see, James Carter. Good to have you here. Patty, good to have you here. Local fella, Dick Koch, thanks for joining. Scott Hampton out in California, thanks for joining. Good to have you here. I'm going to scroll down to the bottom and just look for any sort of questions, but thanks everyone for joining today. I really appreciate it. Yes, weather is a problem. Luckily, I've got AC, so we hit 100 yesterday, Tuesday. No. Yeah, I think Tuesday we hit 100. It's crazy. I can't remember. Weather, I've got AC in the shop, so I'm kind of happy about that. So looking forward to the platform being available. Have an idea for using it. She wants a purple one. I guess we got to get some purple filament. So Shelly says we'll work on that. So, all right. The blue is kind of electric. I kind of like it. I got sort of a bronzy looking color too. Let's see. Yes, that is PLA. PLA. It seems very rigid and stuff. And I'm learning about 3D printing, but it's got pretty dense infill, lots of wall layers and stuff like that. So I need the extra wall layers for the heat inserts and stuff. So Lee, thanks for joining. Appreciate it. Good to have you here. So good questions. Got more questions. I'm not sure when those are going to be available, but we'll get to them when we can. And take that out. Don't need that one right now. That goes over here, and this comes over here. So I have on the lathe here the Axminster. It's just the 100 with the O'Donnell jaws, and I got the 38 millimeter inserts in the O'Donnell jaws. That kind of brings me to sort of the announcement. So let me see if I can get that up here and put that on. Axminster Woodturning. So it's coming to the Woodturning tool store. So we have finally been able to secure some Axminster products, and it's it's a challenging time to figure this out, whether or not it's the right time with all the tariff situation going on. But I do believe in these chucks. I think they're great. They're well machined. I like the variety of chucks, 3 different sizes, 4 different fittings, and the just variety of chuck jaws. So look for that soon. Axminster wood turning products will be up on the wood turning tool store here in the next, I'm thinking a couple of weeks, we'll have product in-house. So it'll be exciting. So I'm looking forward to that. So the full range of chucks, the GK88, the GK100, SK100, and SK114 will be in stock. I will have some of all of the jaws and some other accessories and stuff, and then a few of the live centers and a few other accessories and stuff. Not being carrying any of the pen making stuff yet. Not really. That's a lot of SKUs. Not sure I want to do that. So this is exciting. So look out for that. You'll be notified by newsletter when that comes and stuff like that. So it's a good big step for the wood turning tool store for Shelley and I to take on another product line. It's a lot of work. That's what I've been doing in the background. That's why I'm kind of a little discombobulated today. Keep working on that and make sure everything's set and ready for you guys. So let's see. Would I offer the file later for purchase? Possibly. I mean, that may be something for this one as well, is to I really have to get into understanding how that whole process would work for me. But it's a good question, and it's something I want to think about. Thank you, the Phoenician artist. Michael, good to have you here. Thanks for joining. Appreciate it. Let's get on to this wood turning. So I had these 2 little ones. I had them chucked up in this chuck with these 38 millimeter jaws, just like this, and proceeded to hollow them last 2 weeks ago, and use the same fixture for sanding everything inside and out, using a little tool like this, a little dowel with Velcro around it. Got the sandpaper and used that inside. Worked very well with all of my turningwood.com sandpaper. Oh, speaking of, Steve did me a little favor over at turningwood.com and made a custom color for me on my platform. So this is the burnt orange of woodturningtoolstore.com. So let me go to the wide shot here. And so I got top and bottom that are nice orange and black, just like my company colors. So thank you, Steve, for doing that. And that is the sandpaper holder. I have yet to get it on the wall over here, but that's what we're going to do. So these were done that way. So what I'll do, and what I showed in the graphic image here, is this jam chuck on these jaws without the inserts. So we'll use that same jam chuck. It's a bit long, but you know, I keep whittling it down, and we'll get there. So these little inserts are basically 1 screw right on the top there. And let me widen out, just easier when the jaws are open a bit to get access to those guys. And I always work on number 1 first, because I put them up on the board behind me in order, so I don't lose them or get them out of order. Just kind of the way I work. So this doesn't take too long. They work well as an insert for what I needed to do. And so I know last time there was some discussion about the deflection of these jaws, how they move a little bit. Those are the slides moving, but once everything's cranked down, not a problem. So, and that was number 3. So I've got a little hole in the wall for the screw and a little penny nail, finishing nail on the wall to hold and hang each little jaw insert. So they get held by that hole, and the screw goes up in the drilled hole and hangs on the nail. So there you go. So now we're back to a 50 millimeter jaw set, which will fit this guy. So let's go ahead and put that in there. So jam chucking is a very good way to hold pieces of wood to finish the bottoms. So it's a technique that you want to learn and understand how it works, because it is essentially going to help you with finishing the bottoms of your turnings. If we look at these two, we're going to have problems with one of them, right? So if I look at this one, it's out flaring, right? And so it's not really going to snap on to a tenon. So this one will be a challenge because we'll have to pin it here and also probably tape it around here. So that'll be fun. This one will be easier because it'll kind of snap, fit, and rest on there. And it's fairly straight walled on the inside here. So hopefully that will not be a problem taking off. This current tenon fits this guy that we have here. So that was that one there. So if I go overhead, maybe, and there we go. So that's that one there. So that's how that was put on there and used. And then I taped around here just to secure it to want to get the last little bit off the end here. So there we go. So let's do maybe the tough one first. I tried to see whether they're almost identical size and diameter. So I don't think I'm going to lose anything from a tenon perspective. Although I think this one, I'll do this one first because I think I'll waste less wood here than I will with this one. So I'll change my mind. We're going to do this one first. And so we got to size this tenon to fit that opening. So let's go ahead and do that. And to be honest, I haven't started this lathe up in a couple of days. So we'll see what we have going there. Get that out of the way. That out of the way. I don't need this quite yet. Tailstock. All right, so lots of things in my way. So last time I was in the shop, not really last time, but last time I was in front of the camera in the shop. I was on that podcast show, The Last Angry DJ, and I had reset my headshot camera to have a tighter view. And now since this morning, I had to set that back up. So there was some little bit of setup that I hadn't anticipated this morning. And also, I was telling Shelly this 1 o'clock time change for me is, I'll get used to it. It's just still, so quickly after lunch that sometimes I forget about it. All right, so we have to go down just a little bit, probably 1/8 of an inch, so 1/16 on either side of this cut wheel. I've got a beating and parting tool here and a double beveled sort of cutting tool, a little bit more speed. And I'll just cut a little bit off the end here. And I'll slide it off and can put a little taper on it to see how that goes. So I'll zoom in and maybe refocus that just a little bit as well. And let me that's pretty good. It's already pretty good. So that look good. So that is not big enough. Just a little bit more. So the idea is to slope it off and a little bit of a taper. That way. And I'll zoom in a little bit more now on that one. So there we're getting on about halfway up. So I'll flatten out that taper, and that should be pretty close to where we want it to be. And I may leave that shoulder there instead of taking it all the way up. So I may leave it just there. So let's see, does this do, that really doesn't help. This one maybe, wow, what's that one? This one's doing all the way out there. Sorry, I'm playing with cameras again. Oh, I have this okay. I have this mounted in the wrong place. Fooling around with the camera. We'll use that one later. Let's see if I didn't screw that up. All right. Sorry, folks, for a little babble there. Me and my production mind trying to get the best view for you. So basically a bit of a scraping cut just to kind of flatten that area out. I'm just going to bevel that, take the fuzz off that corner right there. So didn't take a whole lot off there, but it looks straight now rather than, and that's a little bit tight yet. So we'll do a little bit of, I'm going to raise the rest just a little bit to a scraping angle on this tool. So if you look at the side view, I've got the handle almost level. Take a little bit off there. And this whole process is just to take off that bottom. A little bit too tight yet. And I can see I've got a bit of a taper on there. So to compensate, I'm just going to lift this edge just a little bit to kind of get that point in the corner. And this edge now is slightly radiused. I don't know if you can tell back here, but just a slight radius on that tenon, so it should almost snap on there in a way, kind of like a snap-on lid. I did that last year and a half ago, maybe 2 years in the live stream. Not quite. I need to take off the hump in the middle. Just a bit too much of a hump there, so we'll take off that little bit in the middle. Too much force needed to do that, so a little bit more yet again. Well, that sounds a little too tight. You gotta stop before it cracks. And it takes a while to get there, but the patience pays off when you get a nice jam fit that you can feel secure and work with. And that is, I think, needing a bit of a taper at the end. Maybe the inside wall of this guy, I don't think is quite as square as or straight as I thought it was. So I'm probably getting hung up there, and I may have to redo the rest of this because it might be loose now. This is the process of getting it right. And that is spinning, oops, a little bit wobbly, so there's a little bit of debris maybe. And a little more creaking of wood. So that's spinning relatively true. This oak, even though it's a year old, may have moved a little bit in the last 2 weeks while this was drying. I do not have, do I have on the other one? I do not have a center. So, since I don't have a center, I don't want to poke necessarily a hole in the bottom with my tailstock. So how do I want to hold it? Although I could, let me just take this off again. I have plenty of the meat in the bottom. I've got probably a 1/2 inch, maybe 3/8 of an inch to clear that bottom on the inside. So I've got plenty of room to kind of make it work with putting a hole in the bottom of the point. But if I don't need to, I won't. So I didn't bring it out. I do have this guy, rubber chucky, so that would go on there. That would work. Let's just do that since I have it out here. But City makes a great little mini live center that I sell, and that would do wonders here as well. I'm just going to push that on there a little bit. Heard a little creak and a crack. So that's really not going to help me, though. I think I do need that other live center. I have to dig it out. All right. I've got it. I don't have it. I've got the box for it. There it is. There it is. And it's got these little inserts you can take in and out. There is a passel full of ones for the robust. I don't really have, that's not really what I want. I want what's in this little package. There's a point, and a flat. So there's a reverse cone right there. There's the point center that's in there. And then there's a full cone center there. Don't need that. And then there's the flat one, which is the one I want. I'll show you here in a second. I got my hands all over the thing. So it's just a flat steel plate, and that will fit in there. That will be my live center of choice. Little mini live center, and oh, good Lord. We'll replace our big live center with this little one. It's going to give us more room, access space to what we need to do. There we go. All right, a little bit of a spindle gouge, and we'll get to work on shaping this foot and taking it off. I'm going to create the curve, try and create the curve down here to match. We'll see how well that goes. It's a little bouncy, so there is some bounce to it. That's probably about right. We'll take the foot up a little bit. This is faceplate turning, or face grain turning, so I really should not be going that direction. I should be going this direction when I'm cutting that profile. But it's kind of counterintuitive, but that's kind of the way I want to go. And I think I might blend that in with sanding. So, because right now it's a bit off center and it's bouncing a little bit. But I think that's generally where we want to go with it. And I wonder if this wide one. Move that out of the way. Sorry, as I'm setting up another camera here. Rubber Chucky stuff is awesome. Did I do that? Might have when I grabbed my my trackpad. Let me just look up here. Good question. How do they compare with Vicmark chucks? Cindy's answer. They're on par, have excellent quality, maybe a bit better even. Axminster off O'Donnell Jaws, and no one else does. And they're made in England. Yeah. I believe Vicmarks are now made in China, which is another thing to think about. I think they moved everything over there a few years back. So I do have a double bevel scraper here, aka kind of a skew. So I think I'll just smooth this out a little bit and see if I can't get to, oops, wrong button. Get a bit of a fit here, a bit of a better curve and a better finish, and a blend into the finished area. No, it just needs to be touched a little bit here. I've got a bump right here. Might be better seen here. Right here, I've got a little bit of a bump, so that's bothering me. I'm gonna have to take that out. Yes, I'm cutting against the grain to get kind of this cut gun, but all right, that's pretty good for a quick sand. I won't spend long sanding. Let me just get the Mirka paper out for this sand. I'll bring up my dust collector hose. Turn that on. Speed down to 1200 or so. I've sanded this up to 800 or thereabouts. Maybe 600. I can't quite remember. I'm deciding. I think 180 would do me there. I need to finish the bottom. I didn't do that yet, but I just want to get this sanded a little bit. $180. $240. $320 and $400. I'll stop there. I can do the rest off the lathe afterwards. I just wanted to blend that in a little bit. Oh, I need to do the taping. So I've got a nice close fit between these two diameters, and so that aids in taping quite a bit. So that'll help when we take that bottom support away, the live center away, to be able to get to the bottom there. So it's a smaller tool than my normal 1/2 inch gouges. So raise the rest a little bit. I do that. Okay, so now we got to cut across there, make a little bit of a foot. This wood is under a bit of stress. I can hear it kind of popping a little bit here and there. This is hanging quite a ways over the tool rest, or over the over the chuck, lengthwise. So this is about good 8 inches off the end of the chuck. So something to be aware of, to take very tiny cuts, take them in stages. And those first cuts I'm pushing into the wood, then I'll do a very gentle cross grain cut. That little white dot in the middle, I'm going to take a look and see what that's done. It's a little pulled out fiber. I think it's actually might even be an insect hole, which is really kind of unfortunate. I'm going to go a little bit deeper there till it goes away. I'm doing this kind of cut because I want to keep pushing in towards the headstock, so as not to apply any sort of torque force on this turning. And yeah, it's just the way oak is. I'm gonna have to sand that, I think. Let me start at 320 or so. Let's see if that kind of sands out. Let me get blow the dust out of that crack or whatever's in there. Get my head down there. It's a bloody bug hole. That's what it is. Believe it or not, it's a bug hole. Let's see if I can zoom that in a bit more. So it's one of these bug holes. Looks like it's gone through from there to there. And it happens to be right on dead center, which is kind of interesting. So we shall leave it there. We're going to use it as a way to decorate. I'm going to put a little couple of rings in here to hide some of that. Accentuate it, whatever you want to call it. So we'll put a little ring there. That was 320 and 400. Clean the dust out of the little bits, and that's done that one. All right, so I'll finish the rest of this sanding on the outside, although the 400 is pretty good. The nice thing about having this sort of face grain and quarter sawn wood is all the grain is actually absolutely parallel all the way around. So all my sanding scratches and rotational sanding are all going along the grain lines, which has kind of been a blessing here. So there's that one done. Nice little bottom on it and a nice little shape. All right, let's try and get the difficult one done. We are here. And with this one, now that is almost the right size. I can almost leave it on there like that. So that is a good start. We need to taper that like this, make a longer taper on it, I think, and bring it up a ways. So I'll bring that back into center. Camera view. Take a quick check on the chat here. Let's see. Mike says Vicmark's not made in China. They're manufactured in Australia. Vicmark Australian states the website they proudly manufacture lathes, chocolate accessory in Australia. Interesting. Well, that's not what I heard, but I'll have to check that website again. Thanks for pointing that out, Mike. It's good to know if that's the case. Vicmark chucks are still manufactured. Okay, good. Thank you, guys, for correcting me. Appreciate that. This is what I had heard from, I thought was a reliable source, but yes, the grain look awesome, and it is. That's one thing I like about oak is and this is, there's another comment down there. Cindy had all the grain is running cross grain here in perfectly straight layers all the way up, or straight, what you'd call quarter sawn wood, if you will. And yes, exactly. And it does look awesome. On the finished piece, it's a bit easier to see. And this piece was finished with a coat of oil. So you can see those medullary grain ray lines going up there. And when we get to the side, you get the nice oval pattern. So yeah, finishes out beautifully. So it's one of the reasons why I like turning oak. Don't fall. Something fell, not quite. So, all right, let's see. Good news, yes. Yes. And Cindy says comments are not showing up on Facebook. Yeah. There's some sort of, like we said, there's some sort of connection issue with Facebook. So, you know, something we'll have to look into afterwards. So thanks for checking that out, Cindy. Appreciate it. All right, let's taper this down to fit this guy. We're there pretty much on the sizing. Get our little badan. I'm going to use the other one I have, which is the robust. The one I had before was the Carter & Son. I call it a badan, but it's because it started life as a badan from Carter & Son, but I turned it into a beating and parting tool with a dual bevel there. So Robust makes a 1/4 inch wide beating and parting tool. So I'm going to use that for this one just to compare tools a little bit here. All right, so I'm going to take some more of this down to that level. And then we'll start tapering this back. What I think might be the taper angle that I might need. This rim on this guy is just sloped inward slightly. So that last 1/8 of an inch there won't be an issue as I bump this leading edge up against there. And I think, seeing how big this lip is compared to this lip, let me zoom in here. You're probably not understanding what I'm pointing at. So this edge here is shallower than this edge, but not shallower than this edge. So I'm going to push this all the way up, get rid of this area, and push this all the way up to this shoulder. So that way, when I do tape it, I can tape on a part that's level with it. So that's one of the reasons why I want to do that. So we will do this more all the way up to this big shoulder. And taper this down some more. Almost using this like a skew, a little bit of a scraper, if you will. See where we're at there. See how that matches. We got a good sort of Morse taper fit. That's actually on there quite nicely. but we need to get that all the way up to the shoulder. So an even stroke all the way down kind of thing. Getting closer, and I think I'm going to flatten out that taper a little bit up here and not take so much down here. The other way to do this is jam chuck this on an external grip, so you could make a recess like in a flat piece of wood that you got chucked up, and make a recess and fit it into a recess. It's a bit more difficult, a bit more fiddly, but probably a bit more secure in some respects with this kind of outward flowing shape of the vase, or this tapered shape of the tenon. And I think we are there. And Cindy's test, if I can rotate the chuck with the jam fit, that's pretty good. I think we're all the way, there we go. That's all the way up now. No, we're not all the way up, actually. I have to take these off. Yeah, we still have a little bit to go. We're not quite all the way up, all the way around. If I look at this, how this wobbles back here, then we're not all the way on. So, but it is a good fit. I just need the slightest of changes. I'm going to see where that's rubbing. Kind of rotate it by hand and see where the shiny marks are, the compression marks. Looking both on this piece and this. This is, by the way, a soft maple, and this is an oak. So the soft maple is going to give away before the oak does. So in terms of compressing and bruising the wood. All right, so I think I'm right in the middle here where I need to take away. Let's try that. Minimal amount. Doesn't take a whole lot to change this, so. And we're out a little bit there. So yeah, see the gap down here. There we go. We're forcing one side over the other, so. Right near the top, I think. It's hard to see where the compression is, but it's right in this area here. Right about there. Just want to take that out of the equation. Make sure that's not hanging up on anything. Probably should have done that first, but that's looking pretty good. I'm liking that. Same thing. I don't have a point here. I'm going to zoom that back out a little bit. Sorry for the camera jiggle. I'm going to go back here while I do that. And all right, I'll bring up tailstock. Get that secured. We will move this down this way. Maybe put that picture in picture. Kind of show what we're working on. So right down here, get out that little spindle gouge again. This one has a lot more room in the bottom. I know, probably about 3/4, maybe even an inch worth of weight. I do want to keep the weight heavy in the bottom because there are small vessels like this one. I've got probably a good 3/8 of an inch, maybe 1/4 inch between the inside and the outside bottom. And that gives it kind of nice weight. So when it sits down, it's got some weight on there. So I'll do the same thing, but I will take some of this away. And it's almost cylindrical or parallel when it gets down here. So we'll kind of leave it that way. There's a little bit of creaking noise happening when I push that up. So this is kind of like scraping face grain. Works very well. So I'm kind of going to where I think I want to go. And I think I'll trim up this a little bit here. Kind of keeps that taper going just a little bit more. I've got a little high spot right about here. This is like going up the outside of a bowl, if you will, a face grain bowl. That's why I'm traveling in that direction. It's not spindle turning. So that looks pretty good. And we'll put a little bevel on the bottom. We've got a bevel on the lip, so that was kind of the wrong way in terms of grain direction, but I don't know that I can get the other way. I can if I raise the rest a little bit and take my double beveled scraper and adjust my angle and get it there. Nice little bevel, maybe even a steeper bevel than that. There. That'll mimic what's on the lip on the rim. So now get a little bit too aggressive. Settle down. Take little bites at a time. This gouge may be getting a little dull. I'm going to switch over. That was a Carter & Son 3/8 gouge. This is a robust 3/8 gouge. Freshly sharpened. Let's swap that around. We'll see this end. Whoops. Dove into that. What happened there is that I pushed a little too hard and I dove into the end there, and I think I pushed it just slightly off center. So yeah, this is off quite a bit. There, so there should be a gap right down here. Can't see what I'm pointing at. Wrong way. As I swing this around, because I pushed that off with a too aggressive cut, I've created a gap down here. So I need to kind of make sure that's pushed back. There we go. I think that got it. And now we should be back in line. Yep. All right. Little lessons to be a little patient. and not push your tool too hard into where it doesn't want to be. We'll do one more pass on the bottom here. This is where I pushed too hard into that center core. Go back to that one. Sorry, folks. And just seeing what else I need to do. I can do some sanding. Let's do a quick little light pass with sanding. Just on those 180. I do have a bit of a bump there. I don't know if you can see it. There's a little bit of a transition point right in there. I'll go up a little right there. So I'm gonna try and concentrate on that a little bit, flatten that out. In fact, might be better if I use something like this, a little sanding platform, if you will, tool, to make it a bit more flat, and flatten that bump out, which feels like it's gone out just a little bit. Now removed. It's a very subtle shape, this one. One of the reasons why I chose these shapes is to look at that ray flag pattern and see what it does to the patterns of those. We'll look at those in just a minute. So 240. 320. Deciding whether I got that bump out or not. And 400. Brought that right into focus. So you can see these ray flag patterns turn into hyperbolas, right, with this kind of curve. So that's kind of what I was looking for. And straight down, and then more hyperbolas on this side. Or parabolas, hyperbolas. I think parabolas more than hyperbolas. So anyway, some geometric shape. Okay, so now we take tape again. Almost forgot again. We've got a relatively same level of surface here on the tape, on the interface between the two. So the tape should work well. I will stretch the tape as much as I can, and then force it down onto the piece on that side. So let me zoom back out a little bit. And between that and the friction fit of the jam chuck, we should be able to finish this guy off. This is the more tense version of doing this, but I want to show that it can be done. Normally, you might want to take your parting tool and part this little guy off, which is probably the safer bet to do. But sharp tools, a little bit of patience, and some eyesight, which I'm losing through dirty safety glasses, is that didn't change. Not changed. So that's where we're at. See if we get a bug hole in this one. Nope. $180, $240, $320. There we go. That one is done. And let's stop, take a look. Our jam chuck is still holding strong. I'm giving a good pull on that. Oh, that was a good fit. That was a good fit. All right, so let me drop the turning. Oh, darn it. So the other thing about oak, it's nice and tough. So hopefully nothing happened. I will remove this and trying to get the platform set up so I can show off everything. There we go. Oh, I have some maintenance to do on my lathe. Oh, I gotta move that one. Maybe I'll move, do this one. There we go. That one. This one was natural edge one I did last year. This one did about a month ago. And this one and this one. So they kind of go with all the different shapes and profiles. You get to see the ovals on the oval ones, and the parabolas on the tapered ones. That's kind of the whole oak looking, oak looking thing. So Burr oak, by the way, but 400 or 500 years old. Steve Worcester, how about this one? I'm not sure what, let me find out what that's about. If anybody knows, let me know. So, Phoenician artist says, wonder if you could use it, make a vacuum comb for chucking. Not with this stuff, not with the bug holes in it, for sure not. It would not hold a vacuum at all. Probably, yeah, there you go. Michael, probably not because of bug holes, exactly. Thanks, Cindy, for dropping that link. Yep, they're up there in the gouges. So Steve Worcester, what did you mean? How about this one? I'm not quite sure what that was referring to. Steve is on Facebook. Oh, maybe that's the thing. That comment showed up. Yeah, so maybe that That's a good point, Steve. Although Cindy says comments are not showing up on Facebook. There's comments. So I'm not sure. We'll look into how that's working. So very cool. Thank you. Appreciate it, Cindy. Bug, open grade. Yeah, don't make. Yeah, exactly. Let's see. Comments come in, but don't go out. Oh, when you type them here, they don't go out. Okay, gotcha. But they go to YouTube and StreamYard. It's just Facebook. So Facebook, I mean, yeah. Okay, good. Thank you. That helps understand a little bit what's going on. So something's happened with Facebook again, and they've changed something. I might double picture-in-picture here because I'm on there and this is on. So anyway, that's it for me. What did I do here? I lost my. There we go. So we can see the pots here as well. This one was finished with lacquer or maybe polyacrylic. I'm not quite sure, but it's a spray on film finish. This was oil, and these will get oil as well because I think the oil just works better. Thanks for watching. Appreciate everybody sticking around. I know I fumbled a bit. I hadn't used a few tools and hadn't pulled out the proper ones, but I hadn't set up properly. That's just kind of the way it goes with things being so busy, us now taking on Axminster tools. So that's exciting times. Hopefully you can join Cindy next week, Friday. And in 2 weeks, I'll be back, and Cindy will have a demo coming up. We also have a sharing session on the 6th. You'll hear all about that if you join our newsletters, and keep in touch. So with that said, busy is good. Yes, it is. Thank you, Karen. Thank you, Paul and Charlie and everybody else that joined. Appreciate it, Scott. And everybody take care. Have a good weekend. And remember, Memorial Day is next weekend, next Monday, 10 days away, something like that. And we have a good sale going on. Check that out. Otherwise, be good and get turning and have fun. We'll see y'all next time. Bye for now.